Right. It's like we're recording, so we'll get started. Welcome everyone to the Evergreen Home Supports Progress Note training session. My name is Leslie Miska, and I'm the Office of Aging and Disability Services Information Services Manager, and I'll be leading today's training. Next slide, please, Miranda. During today's training session, we will cover the following topics: an introduction to Evergreen and the Home Support Progress Note. Next slide, please, Miranda. Prior to this training, you should have watched the Evergreen micro-learning videos. If you have not yet had a chance to watch those, you certainly can still do that after this training. They are brief videos that are available on our Evergreen project website at maine.gov/dhhs/EIS/Evergreen. And you'll want to go to the training page, and they're hyperlinked at the top of that page. And these videos provide training on the following topics: the search, which is an introduction to Evergreen and how to use the search functions to access person records, staff records, locations, and organizations. Dashboards. In Evergreen, there are two different dashboards. There's one for the system user, which is you, and then there's one for each of the persons that we serve. There's a micro-learning video on the person record itself, which is where we capture all of the demographic and personal information related to that individual. There's a micro-learning video for health information, which is where we capture and maintain the information such as diagnoses, allergies, medications, treatments, and health insurance. There's a micro-learning video that teaches you a little bit about Evergreen queries and notifications, which are tools that will help you manage your outstanding work or actions that you need to take in the system. There's one on progress notes, which for those that have that access will teach you how to capture a progress note within the person record. And there's one on attachments, which are important documents that can be uploaded to the person record to supplement the information in Evergreen. Please note that we will not be covering all of this information today, so you will want to be sure that you review those micro-learning videos if you haven't had a chance to do so already, or you can feel free to just listen to them again as a refresher if you choose. Next slide, please, Miranda. Participants have been added to this training session in listener mode, therefore your line is muted. We do want to hear your questions though, so we ask that you use the Q&A icon in your Zoom window menu. It looks like the one that's pictured here, the red arrow pointing to it. If you don't see that on your menu, it may be under the more ellipses, the 3 dots. So you could click on that and see if you can find QA under there. You can type questions into the Q&A throughout the presentation, and then at the end of the slides, I will answer as many questions as we have time to get to. We should have plenty of time within this hour to get to all of your questions. But if we don't, then we certainly will make sure that we respond to those questions by posting an answer under our FAQs on our webpage. Next slide, please, Miranda. It's important to note that there are two separate sections of Evergreen. There's the Adult Protective Services side of the system, and there's the Evergreen Person Record side of the system. The Adult Protective Services side of the system is used to capture Adult Protective Services reports, or APS reports. This has been live since June of 2020. The Evergreen or Person Record side of the house is where we're going to focus our effort today, and is where all of our EIS functionality will reside when we go live in January of 2024. It is important to note, though, that both sections of the system share the Evergreen Person Record, which contains all of the relevant person details such as the demographics, identifiers like the A number, the social security number, all of that health information, and some additional sections. Because the person record is shared, that means that both the APS and public guardianship conservatorship staff, as well as all of our developmental disabilities and neurobehavioral staff, will have access to view and edit that same person record. Next slide, please, Miranda. Some of the benefits of Evergreen include a self-service help, some self-service help features, including the ability to reset your own password, which is very exciting, an enhanced person record with centralized data capture for things like diagnoses, medications, etc. The display of common data within the forms rather than having to recapture that. So some forms will automatically display diagnoses or medications or program classification or date of birth, things like that. And standardized data capture. We have required fields, field level validations to ensure that the content that's being entered into fields follows the correct format, like date formats, numeric fields, etc., as well as form-based workflows and business rules that will make sure that data is being captured in a consistent way. Next slide, please, Miranda. My dashboard is the first page that you will see once you log in as a staff member or user of the system. My dashboard showcases a search tool, which is at the top of the screen in the white top level persistent navigation bar. And that search is where you'll keyword search, or you can use the advanced search icon to the right of that to navigate to person records. And there are some other consistent navigation items in that bar. Below that is your dashboard tiles. The home supports provider has 3 tiles. The leftmost tile is the announcements tile, and this has an orange background, and this tile exists for all system users, and this is managed by our vendor and will contain notices of upcoming scheduled maintenance, when the system might need to be down, might have office closures, or system-wide messages that all users should be alerted to. The center tile here is the messages tile. This feature is similar to email, however, it is contained within the Evergreen system, and it can be used for communicating with other system users, such as care coordinators. This way, all of your communications can be within the system rather than part of them being outside of the system in email. The tile on the far right is the My Notes tile. This feature is similar to sticky notes or Notepad if you've used something like that on a smartphone device or your tablet or possibly your laptop. This is a way to capture quick notes. Like if you receive a phone call and you need to start documenting something, you can quickly add it using My Notes by entering a title and starting to type your text. These notes are saved in your staff user profile, and because you have the access to create progress notes, you can later promote those to a progress note under the person record. Next slide, please, Miranda. A summary of the home support services provided should be entered into Evergreen as a progress note each month. Next slide, please, Miranda. Progress notes are added under the person record. You can locate a person record by doing a quick keyword search or by using the search history, which is the little clock icon to the right of the keyword search. That will retain your last 20 searches so that you can quickly grab one again if you're using the same persons. Or you can use the advanced search, which is the little magnifying glass with the plus sign in the middle. This will pop up a modal and allow you to narrow your search based on the field that you're searching for, such as first name, last name, date of birth, etc. Once you've entered your search criteria and clicked enter, the system will return a list of matching results like you're seeing here in the center of the screenshot. In order to navigate to the person record, you simply click on the row for the person record that you would like to navigate to. In this example, I've circled the third search result, which is the person Leslie Neuro, and that was the record that I navigated to. Next slide, please, Miranda. To create a home support progress note, you will click on the progress notes icon in the leftmost navigation, the primary navigation bar. That's the green bar. And once you click on that icon, the background will turn white, like you can see here that Miranda's circling for you. I was clicked onto that when I took this screenshot. This will bring you to the progress notes, the all progress notes list page. From here, you'll click the plus new progress note in the upper left-hand corner to create your new progress note. This will open up a pop-up modal like the one that you're seeing in the center of this screenshot. From here, you will select the note type of home support, which I've circled in red at the top of that modal. You'll then provide a title for your note, which can be generic, though should include some quick references that are of high importance. For example, you can type monthly summary -ER visit. Then you'll enter the activity date, which should be the first day of the month, and this note should be entered no later than 5 days from the end date of that month that you're entering the note for. Then you'll add your description. This can be up to 10,000 characters, and you can use the editor to use options like bold, italics, highlighting, bulleted lists, tables, whatever you need here. In this example, I used a numbered list and some highlighting. Your summary that you're going to type into this description field should include any progress towards goals, members' successes, member challenges, provider concerns, any major events in the member's life, or changes in the member's routines. Next, you will enter your contact type. This will be in-person visit or meeting. You'll also, other contact type selections have been called out in the black box to the left here. So there are multiple options there, but you'll want to select the contact type of in-person visit or meeting. Lastly, you'll provide the hours and minutes spent on this activity. The system will automatically convert that time to units. In this example, I indicated 1 hour and 20 minutes, and the system is displaying 5 units. You will then click Save to move to the next step. Next slide, please, Miranda. Step 2 of the home support note is the safety assessment. The safety assessment is a new set of 2 questions. These questions are intended to help ensure the safety of the persons we serve. The questions align with the Adult Protective Services structured decision-making safety assessment questions. You can select as many factors affecting vulnerability and as many factors affecting safety as you've observed during your visits in that month. Or you can indicate none apply to one or both of these questions. Then you'll click Save to be navigated into the progress note to capture any history that you may have obtained. Next slide, please, Miranda. Once you have completed the note stepper, you will be navigated directly into the home support note. From here, you can manually expand or collapse each section using the caret icon to the left of each section header, like progress note here. I had clicked on that and it's expanded, so you can see that caret is facing down and you can see the content there that I added in my stepper. You can use the toggle icon in the upper right-hand corner of the central content area to open the quick scroll menu, which in this case, the home support progress note has the 2 sections, the progress note and the safety assessment note. Safety assessment section. Clicking on either of these section names will bring you directly to that section of the form without having to scroll to get there. Progress notes will remain editable for up to 24 hours, and they can only be edited by the person who created the note or an ODES administrator, someone on my team. After 24 hours, they can only be edited by the ODES administrator because they will be locked down. Next slide, please, Miranda. To add history from within the home support note, you will click on the history widget icon in the upper left-hand corner of the central content area, which I've circled. It's kind of grayed out there in the background. This will open the Add History list page. From here, you will click on the plus new history button in the upper left-hand corner of that window, which will open an additional new history item modal. That's what's being displayed in the central content area of this screenshot. History items are captured under one of the 8 top-level Charting the Life course domains. These categories align with the person-centered plan so that records captured here can be used to inform the planning process. After selecting your category, you will choose a corresponding type and then enter the history description. The history description field includes gray ghost text to guide you about what type of content should be tracked under this category and type combination. Once you have populated the required fields, you can click Save to commit the history record to the database. You can enter as many history items as needed under each progress note. Next slide, please, Miranda. I am now going to steal the screen share from Miranda so that I can log in and show you how to add one of these notes. I am in a test environment, so please bear with me. Hopefully we don't have any hiccups this morning. Might help if I pick the right password, huh? I am logging in as a super user, so there will be a lot of additional navigation items here that you won't see as a home support provider. So apologies for that. So I've navigated to my person record, which is Leslie Neuro. And again, I have a lot more options than you'll have because I'm logged in as a super user, but you'll click on the progress notes icon. And you can see here that I already have a progress note, home support progress note on here that I created when I was creating the presentation. But from here, you'll just click plus new progress note. You'll select that type of home support. You'll provide that title. It will default to the activity date of today, but you'll want to set that to the 1st of the month. Actually, this is December 6th, so let's pretend that we're doing our November one. You'll type your description in here. Just for the purposes of this, I'm gonna just make it quick. You'll select in-person visit meeting. You'll indicate how many hours. So over the course of the month, maybe you've spent 4 hours, no minutes. You'll hit save. It'll give you the safety assessment. You can select whatever you might have observed during your visit, hit save, and it will direct you right here into your progress note. And you can click this icon here and go to your safety assessment if you need to. And from here is where you can add your history. You can select any of these topics. Subcategories, and then it will give you some ghost text here. And then it adds it to your history here. And if you wanted to add a second one, you can do that. And now you have 2 in here. And then you can close that out. And then, of course, if you needed to go back in there, you can do that again. Now I'm going to stop sharing and give the slides back to Miranda. So what's next? Next steps will be to get in plenty of practice in our training sandbox. We will be sending out your logins to the training sandbox hopefully within the next week or so. Please bear with us. There are about 2,500 people that we need to get logins to. So there's a little bit of coordination effort that needs to occur there, but we will be sending those out just as quickly as we can. And once you receive that, you can get into that training environment. You'll have a person record that's assigned to you, and you can do as much testing around, playing around, familiarizing yourself with the system using that set of credentials and that person record as you would like to. Please keep in mind that your access in that environment may have more features than you'll have in production. Again, just for ease of use, we wanted to make sure that people could navigate through the certain forms and processes. So you may have some additional access that in that environment than you will have in actual production. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your login to that training environment, you can go to our project website at maine.gov/DHHS/EIS/Evergreen. You can rewatch the informational webinars that are posted out there. There was one related to the new features and person record. There's one related to reportable events and progress notes. And then there's a person-centered planning process one if you're interested in hearing more about that. As well as the micro-learning videos that we discussed earlier in this presentation. You can certainly go get those out on our website and listen to those as many times as you'd like as well. And we'll be posting this recorded training. So if you want to re-listen to that or, encourage your peers to listen to any of these, certainly do that as well. There's tons of frequently asked questions out on our project website already as well. And we continue to update that with each of these training sessions. So you can review those as time permits. And then you want to be working towards tying up any loose ends that you have in EIS. So with progress notes, you're going to want to make sure that any progress notes that you've entered, that you've completed those by 5 p.m. on Friday, January 12th, 2024, because those all will migrate over in progress, in a completed state. So any that were still in progress, like if you hadn't finished them, they'll be locked down and you won't be able to edit them anymore. Worst case scenario, if that happens, we certainly can delete that note for you and you can re-enter it, or we can work with you to get that finished up. But ideally, best case scenario is you'd get all of your progress notes completed by 5 p.m. on Friday, January 12th, 2024. If you need to enter a note and won't have enough time on Friday, we would suggest that you hold that until Tuesday, January 16th, and enter it on Tuesday once we're live in Evergreen. And then you can also participate in any of the Q&A sessions that will be held. Our vendor FEI will be holding a couple of Q&A sessions in January, right before the deploy. And at any time, even if after this presentation or leading into the go live, you have any questions, you can certainly email those to us at evergreen.dhhs@maine.gov. And Nancy Kitchen on the data and compliance team is manning that email address for us so that we can make sure that we respond to your questions. And Miranda was gracious to enter our website into the chat. So you should be able to grab that from there if you haven't been to our website. And I don't see any, oh, yep, I do see one question in the Q&A. If you have questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask those questions through the Q&A icon now. The question is, what does ORC stand for? ORC stands for Other Related Conditions. So there are some other related conditions providers who provide home support notes currently in EIS and will do so futuristically in Evergreen. I don't see any other questions yet in the Q&A, but please feel free to type any in if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to answer those. We do still have a little over 30 minutes left in this training session. I knew it would be a quick one, but certainly wanted to give us enough time. Next question is, will this be where we put our weekly provider notes? Yes, Diane. So your weekly provider notes should go here. It was my understanding that provider notes had been changed to monthly. Not sure if Liz is on the line. Miranda, are you able to unmute Liz, Elizabeth Harding?
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Hey, Liz, we can hear you.
Hi, yes. So for brain injury and other related conditions providers, our expectation right now is that notes will be entered for members monthly. So certainly if providers want to do weekly, they can, but our expectation is that there will be monthly notes put in for members.
Excellent. Thanks, Liz. And so, yes, you would use the same location. If you want to do weekly, you certainly can, but definitely at a minimum of monthly. And there's also a question here about whether we need to do monthly notes for community support. Liz, is that something that you can also speak to?
Get back to you on that.
Yeah,
Um,
certainly. Yep, no problem.
yeah.
We will take that question back about community support notes and a requirement, whether there's a requirement for community support notes, and we will post the answer to that with our frequently asked questions. Diane asks, will we need to complete a safety assessment each time we enter a note? Yes, Diane. For these home support notes, when you select that type of in-person visit meeting, it will present that safety assessment set of 2 questions for you. Again, the hope here is that because you're providing home supports and you're meeting with these individuals in person, that we can get some additional information around any observations that you made related to their safety. So that will be presented to you each time you do a note and you select that contact type of in-person visit/meeting. It looks like those are all the questions that I have in the Q&A right now. I know we're a small group this morning. It is bright and early on Wednesday, so if there are no other questions, we can certainly adjourn 30 minutes early. I can give you all back some additional time. Oh, I do have one more question. Will shared living have to enter monthly notes? Another great question. Again, I think we probably need to take that back. And we'll respond to you on that one, unless you know, Liz, on shared living.
We're gonna take that one back too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. We'll take the question on shared living and community supports back and provide an answer on that. But for certain home supports providers, we'll need to enter those notes. And again, although we're going to wrap up here for today, if you think of any other questions, you can certainly email those to us at any time at evergreen.dhhs@maine.gov. And I want to thank all of you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to working with you in the new system in January. Have a great day.